Hey guys, welcome back. So I'm out here in the garden today and it's a beautiful day. It's a little bit windy, but otherwise the temperature is great. There's ample amount of sun and it's not too hot, so I figured I need to get out here. I'm going to be doing some pruning and I thought I'd take you guys along. Just a little bit about what I got going on here. These little pots down here at the bottom are kind of an experiment. I had the leftover squash plants that I didn't know what I was going to do with, because I have 3 zucchini here and then I have 3 squash here, and I still had more plants. So I was like, what am I going to put these in? I don't have any more containers. So I left them in, these are like peat pots. P-E-A-T, peat pots, and basically they will just disintegrate. But I left them in these pots, but then buried them in the soil so that they can root out of the bottom of the pot. So I'm going to see how well these do just in these little pots buried in the soil, because I basically didn't have anywhere else to put them. That one on the end is still in the pot. There's a peat pot inside of that pot, so I haven't buried that one yet because I ran out of a spot to bury it. So I think what my goal was to give that away, but I'm not sure. And then I got one over here. This is a squash, and I'm gonna see how well it does. I filled this cinder block up with dirt. Hello, Zeke. Can I help you? Being nosy? This is my puppy. He's 4 months old. Say hi, Zeke. No, you can't have my stuff. All right, so anyhow, this is a yellow straight neck squash, and I have an experiment going on to see how well I can get it to grow in the peat pot, buried in the soil that's just in this cinder block here. So, you know, squash plants need a lot of space to grow. They need a lot of room to grow, but I'm gonna see how well it does. Anyhow, we've got tomatoes in here, we've got beans in here, and I need to do some pruning. We've got some of these leaves here that are all touching each other, and it is the season for powdery mildew, and I don't want to get it. I don't want to have to treat for powdery mildew. So we're going to get in here and we're going to do some pruning. We'll start with this tomato here. These are super bush tomatoes here. If you can see there, they've got lots of suckers coming in down at the bottom there. Lots of, these will be new plants. These will be whole nother growing stems. This is my main growing stem here. This is my main growing stem. And then if you see here, this one that's right in between the Y is a sucker. Now if I prune this off and put this in some water, this will make me a whole nother tomato plant. Now I don't need another tomato plant, but there's another one. This one here is a sucker. It's right in the joint, right at the Y, and it's a sucker. So basically those suckers will grow into new growing stems and they're gonna produce. This is a super bush and I don't have a lot of space for new growing stems. So I'm going to prune those off and stick to one growing stem. Okay, so that's my goal here with all of these tomato plants, is to get the suckers off and prune. They're getting a little tall, so I want to prune up and get rid of some of this foliage. I don't need all this foliage. I don't need all these leaves. I'm not growing tomato plants for leaves. I'm growing them for fruit. I don't want to deal with blight. I don't want to deal with any other diseases that come from splashing on the leaves. So the less leaves, the less disease. And as long as I have enough leaves on the top of the plant will thrive. If I clip most of these leaves that I don't need, the plant is going to produce better fruit because it's going to direct less energy into those leaves and more energy into the fruit. So after I'm done pruning here, I'm going to give it a dose of fertilizer, but I'll wait till this evening when it's not as hot out to do that. I'm gonna give it a pretty all-around fertilizer. I want to make sure it's getting flowers before I start boosting the phosphorus and the potassium. So anyhow, let's get some of these tomatoes pruned. Okay, hopefully we got a good enough angle here. I'm gonna get rid of some of these leaves here, especially these ones at the bottom. We're just gonna do a chop and drop. And what that'll do is they'll just disintegrate and they will feed the soil. Now those suckers, I'm not going to drop those because I don't want those to set roots. Yeah, so that big one there, that one I'm not going to drop. I'm going to get rid of that one. And back here, this one here, get rid of that one. And this big one here, get rid of that one. So you're probably like, wow, you are really chopping that tomato up. As long as it has a few good leaves on it, it's going to be just fine. So now all I have is stem here, and then up here I've got, you can see there's a couple flowers on there, but just these 3 leaves here, and the rest is stem. And what I'm going to do is I'll probably put a stick in there just for some added support for that plant. See, this one here is wild. I need to do a lot of pruning on that one. We're going to come in and get rid of, this is my main growing stem here. So I'm going to go along the main growing stem. This is a sucker. I need to definitely get rid of that. And then you got these little ones down here. They're suckers coming in. This one. And then this one here. Suckers. Those will all grow into new growing stems if I let them. But like I said, I don't need more tomato plants. I need less disease. So let's get rid of these. These little ones I can just pinch off. This one's fine, I can leave that one. Over here, this little one's a sucker. I don't want that one. I can leave this. And I'm just gonna leave those around there. They'll go into the soil, and I'm just gonna cut that sucker off. So there we have it. I got this leaf here, and I got this one here. Matter of fact, I'm gonna trim this one on the side because it's reaching over behind. This one here is reaching over. I don't want my leaves all touching each other because that makes room for powdery mildews and blights and all kinds of diseases, because with the humidity the way it is, moisture is in the air. And that's what makes your plants susceptible to diseases, is all these leaves that you don't need. Oh, look at that. I got basil coming in down here that I forgot that I planted. All these little basils coming in. That's cool. So my beans are just now looking like they want to do something. Look at those little flowers I'm getting in. I don't know if you can see that. It's so windy. Let's see if I can get closer in here. I can see those bean flowers coming on. Over here, lots of bean flowers coming on. So anyway, it's kind of windy and it's hard to get a good angle. But that's what I'm going to do with my tomato plants. Now over here with the squash, let me show you how I prune the squash. All right, let me show you how I do the squash and the zucchini. So we've got all these leaves in here, right? And I don't want them touching each other. First of all, I want to get rid of the yellow ones. When you're pruning zucchini and squash, you don't want to cut the stems. The stems are hollow, okay? Let's get rid of this one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it. You see this Y right here, right on the leaf? There's a Y right there. What I want to do is I want to cut it at the Y, and that way my stem is not open. Because if I cut the stem is hollow, it's like a straw. That's going to leave room for bugs and things to get in there, and like vine borers, and I don't want that. So I'm going to cut it right on that Y. Just like that. Because just like the others, squash and zucchini and cucumbers, they are especially susceptible to powdery mildew. So I don't want all these excess leaves that I don't need. The bigger ones are the better ones to get rid of. Okay? The bigger ones are the better ones to get rid of, because they are blocking out the sun. For one, they block out pollinators from getting to your flowers, and they're the biggest ones. They'll touch other leaves. So I'm going to go around and at the Y's on all of these, I'm going to prune some of these leaves off so that I can make sure I have adequate airflow in here. I want to make sure that my plants are healthy. They have enough air that they can dry when they get wet. That one's good. This is a little one here. This one over here I can do. So as long as they have two good leaves to take in some sun and some energy, that's all they need. They don't need all these leaves to produce. And with less leaves, the plant has an opportunity to focus more energy on producing flowers and better root systems. So I can see these are coming along, and looks like there's going to be a lot of flowers on them. So I want them to be nice and healthy when it's time for the fruit to come in. So there. I have pruned. Look at all this space here that I have now for airflow. Once I get in here and get these tomatoes done, it's going to be nice and airy in here. There's going to be room for pollinators to come in. room for airflow, no room for diseases. So I'm gonna get all this side done. And then let's go over here and look at like this tomato here. This one's gonna get done, and I will probably, these ones that are in the containers, I'm gonna stake them. I'm gonna prune them, and then I'm gonna stake them. The peppers also, same thing. Look at all these leaves that are on this pepper plant. I don't need all these leaves coming down the plant. I don't need that. I'm gonna clip all of those off and just let them fall right where they are. And then I will probably come through here and also stake these ones. That way I don't get any splash up and I don't have room for disease. I want to cut all of these off. There we go. See, now I got these healthy stems here. No leaves to splash any disease on. Healthy plants are happy plants. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing with all these peppers. All the way down. Cucumbers. Same thing. Same as the zucchini. All right, look at all these leaves in here. I don't want powdery mildew. Okay, I want to get rid of these leaves, so I'm going to do these leaves just like I did the zucchini. I'm going to cut it right at that Y that's right at the leaf and get rid of some of those leaves so that I can have some adequate airflow in there. Let's start with this one here. This one definitely, because it's brown anyway. All right, these are 2 plants here, so this one's gonna have to go that way. And I'm gonna cut this one off that's going to the middle because I don't want that one overshadowing anything. The ones that go to the middle, cut all of those off because I don't want one plant touching another plant. Tendrils on the cucumbers. Train them. Train them to grab hold of whatever you've got that is your support system. This one is grabbing hold of itself there, but I want it to grab hold of this cage. So I'm going to give it some help. Help that little tendril wrap around there, see? And then there's another tendril here. This one. Get these big leaves out of here. Okay, that one looks good. This one is doing all right, grab and hold. This one here is doing all right. This one doesn't have any tendrils yet, but that's all right, it'll get there. I'm gonna do some more supporting with these cucumbers with some jute. So we'll do that. Anyway, I'm gonna do the rest of these cucumbers just like that, because I want adequate airflow in there. Do you see the difference now? I don't see all those leaves blocking each other, touching each other. That is preventive maintenance for powdery mildew and other diseases. These ones here, I'm gonna do these, all these leaves here on in the middle, I'm gonna get rid of all those. I don't want them touching each other. Here, same thing. all these leaves in the middle. I don't want them touching each other, and I'm also gonna train these cucumbers to go towards the fence. I'm behind on that. I said I was gonna take you guys along for a video. Watermelon is the same way. You can prune those leaves off the watermelon plants if they are touching each other, or the ones that are closest to the ground. The ones that are closest. Look at that guy. He's a, well, missed him. He was a dragonfly. Anyway, these ones that are closest to the ground, like this one here. This is like a one of the first leaves. We can get rid of that. This little one here, get rid of that. Yep. So yeah, these little leaves that are in that the plant doesn't need anymore. These little tiny ones. I'm gonna prune those off. I don't want powdery mildew in my plants. I'm not growing plants for leaves, so I can get rid of some of these leaves. It's not gonna hurt the plant. It's gonna keep growing. It's gonna keep producing more leaves, so it's not an issue. As long as it has a few good leaves on the top, it will continue to grow. Over here, out in the rain, I was out here in the rain the other day, and I got some squash plants put in, the patty pan squash. I think over here in this gallon container, I got the patty pan, both of these here, patty pan squash. And then I put some beets in here. I also put some beets in with the tomatoes here. And then I did carrots down here. I did carrots in here and carrots in here. I'm gonna get in here and prune all these tomatoes, especially these ones. And with these high winds, I think I'm gonna go ahead and stake them all. I was going to do the Florida weave, but because I have everything in containers, I think I'm gonna change my mind and just do the staking method. I have an abundance of sticks. Like if you can see there, I have an abundance of sticks at my disposal. There's some here that just was laying in the yard. I have, I don't know if you guys can see, in that back corner, all the way back there, there is a pile, a supply, I guess you could say, of sticks and branches and whatnot, and I can use all of that. Strawberries were doing okay. I got some strawberries coming in there. I don't know if you can see that. There's some strawberries there. There's a couple here. I think this plant is going to get some strawberries. These ones here were new plants. I just got those this year. But these ones I've all transplanted, so I've had those for a couple of years. But anyhow, I just wanted to bring you guys along for some pruning. I don't know if I'm going to get anything out of these peas still or not. I might just remove them and start something else in there. My collard greens are getting a little eaten up, but if you take the leaves off and just leave one good leaf, it'll grow back. Oops, sorry. It'll grow back. So I got that one good leaf there, if you can call it that. My kale is doing good though. I got all this kale I can produce. My Swiss chard is doing good. These over here, these are all doing good. I think it was just in here that I was having the issues. And you know what? It was probably because these kale plants are not healthy. When you have unhealthy plants, they attract pests. So because I had these, and I neglected to get them out of here, but these kale plants dying here is what attracted the pests to these other two pots. So what I want to do is I want to get these out of here so that I don't get any pests on my squash and my beans and things like that. So I'm going to get these out of here, and I'll probably fill this space in with compost, and that'll be another planting space for me. Maybe I can put the okra there. Anyhow, I'm glad you guys came along. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys are doing for your garden? Do you have any pests that you are trying to get rid of? I have a few videos on pest control and disease prevention. So if you didn't already, you can watch those. I will link those in the description. So we got these all pruned up now. The temperature has dropped a little bit and it's gotten a little bit more windy out here. But I do want to get these staked, especially some of the smaller ones. Like this one has a really healthy growing stem. But then some of these other small ones are a little skinny. Not to mention the peppers are pretty skinny over here too, so I want to get these all staked while I have the chance. And here he comes. What's going on, Zeke? What's going on? Alright, so here I have a pile of sticks that I collected from my stash over there. And these are going to make some perfect staking sticks. Until next time, the more you know, the more you grow. Have a good day.